The little girl had discovered her, a small figure carved on a wooden plank hanging on the kitchen wall. The girl stood there, awestruck, studying the image. Etched on the wood in lines and knots was a lady in a gown, standing with gray hair flowing down her shoulders and watching something, open mouthed and eyes rounded, as if surprised and upset by what she is watching. The child had run to a nearby room and dragged him to the kitchen to show him her discovery. As a young man, he was not surprised as the child, but he took note of the unusual design nevertheless. This was the child's home, and had she never seen this piece of art before? Indeed, it looked like a creepy lady watching. He was a friend of this family. Her parents had gone on an errand, leaving their daughter behind under his watch. Minutes after being shown the discovery, he murdered the girl in the kitchen as the carved lady on the wall stood watching, terrified and dumbstruck. A year later, the wall and the house were no more, first mortgaged and sold. Everything that could be salvaged was sold as scrap, including the wooden plank with the lady carved on it. 5 years later, he bought a house in another place hundreds of miles away from where he ended that child. He married a lovely woman who deeply adored him. The second night in their new home, she discovered a plank, discarded in a dusty corner of the attic. She brought it down into the house and set it in their bedroom, so she wouldn't forget to show her husband after work that day. Absently, she hung it on an old hook near the bed, so as not to get dust on the bedclothes. She mentions it to him that night. It made him take note of the design. Viewing the image rang a faint bell. "I think I've seen something like that before," he said. But shortly went on loving his wife, not wanting to focus his brain on anything less important. Later that night, he woke up from sleep, restless, in the faint light with his wife sleeping beside him. His eyes fell on the artwork. The lady was watching. Even in the semi-darkness of the room, he could see her clearly. She seemed to be watching him with more and more intensity. He remembered. She woke up in the morning when a drop of liquid fell on her face, a drop of red. She didn't find him beside her. Another drop fell. She looked up. It was dripping from above. Blood. She froze in panic and called out to him as she ran up to the attic. The quiet neighborhood street was disturbed by her blood-curdling scream. Later, neighbors consoled her as police carried a body bag out of the house. Bunnyman is an insane murderer that has reports of killings or sightings only on Halloween 10 or 20 years at midnight under a bridge. It is said that if you stay there beside the bridge in the town of Virginia, Colchester, you will see him. After midnight, there will be a bright white light in the bridge. Under the white light will appear a humanoid murderous bunny with an axe. There have been very few sightings of this murder. There is little that is known about him, except that some say he escaped from an insane asylum. The tale of the Bunnyman started with a series of unsolved, brutal murders that allegedly originated with an insane asylum that existed buried in the wilderness of Clifton, Virginia in the early 1900s. Just as the lunatics in the asylum were about to be brought to their deaths, it had shut down. More and more people were beginning to move in the town where the asylum was. The mayor issued the head of the asylum to move the people somewhere else so they wouldn't escape and ramshackle the town. According to the tale, in the autumn of 1904, the inmates were packed into 15 transports to be moved to the new facility. It is said that sometime during the journey to Lorton prison, the driver of one of the vehicles violently swerved for the purpose of avoiding something in the road, and the transport careened off the road to spectacularly crash into the dark wilderness. Most of the inmates aboard, including the driver, were killed in the crash, but some survived and escaped into the surrounding landscape, melting into the black of night. The very next day, the police were hard at work scouring the area to hunt down the escaped mental patients. After an exhaustive and intensive manhunt that lasted for months, the authorities are said to have apprehended all but 2 of the estimated 10 convicts that had escaped: a Marcus A. Walster and Douglas J. Griffin. As the police were still searching, they saw a footprint in the mud, and in the footprint it said, "You'll never find me, and you know it too," signed the Bunnyman. The police knew what happened to one of the inmates, but not the other. This one has been around for a long time, and for many who don't know, I'm talking about Bigfoot. Bigfoot is a heavy bipedal humanoid ape. It is believed that Bigfoot stands at around 8 to 10 feet tall. However, the Hebagon stands at only 4 to 5 feet and has long arms. It has dense fur ranging in colors from red to white to brown. It has very large feet, which is why it is called Bigfoot. There are various sources around the internet that try to prove that Bigfoot is real. Tons of anecdotal evidence. But 2 videos piqued my interest. Take a look.
What was that?
What are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. Looks like a man. I don't know what it was, just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
Dio!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big... real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big. He is big.
Nevertheless, from what you've seen or what you've heard, whether you believe it or not, this is definitely one for the books.